Hey everybody, I just wanted to show you an example of what having one of the dialogue guides in your session can do for your library music. I've loaded up the female voice celebrity news and I've got a backing track that I just worked up. So first let's hear what that voice sounds like.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids.
Okay, now let's hear what the music is. Okay, then the first thing whenever I put one of these guides in is I just try and balance the music to the voice and see if it works, if we have to turn down the music so much that it no longer really sounds good. And then we'll start tearing it apart and figuring out how to make it fit. So I've got all my music bused here to a music bus, and I'm just going to kind of play around the volume of the two.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son, Ryder. After having started a nonprofit aimed at providing meals for high school students from...
Okay, this is one of the depressing times when you have to turn the music down so far that it kind of doesn't even serve its purpose anymore. And you can hear that it's a pretty busy track, so we know right away there's something fighting with the voice. Let's just see. So usually it's going to be in one of the leads, or maybe if some kind of drum effects you have, or maybe a pad that's just like sitting right in the same space as the voice. For this one, there's kind of a busy lead here. I know there's some pluck ones. Those seem like they were fine, but this one here... I was kind of filling in for a lead vocal, and we don't really need that because we actually want the narrator to be in that space of the lead vocal. So we could try turning it down.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son, Ryder. After having started a nonprofit aimed at providing meals for high...
But you end up kind of turning it down so far, it's not really even worth it to have it in. So I think we just have to make an editorial decision, get rid of that element, and let's see if that makes the arrangement better. I think it will.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son, Ryder. After having started a nonprofit aimed at providing meals for...
Yeah, it opened up. You can still hear the bass, you can still hear the drums, and it doesn't sound kind of so low that it doesn't even sound like music anymore. It sounds like a track, and it sounds like it fits. So we got rid of that lead. The other thing I did, I put in some EQs. Now EQs can help a lot. I mean, you don't need to necessarily scoop out every frequency that shares the same space with the voice, because then your music it'll just sound really hollow and weird. But if you do have a lot of information, especially where consonants are, then it's a good idea to listen to those parts and then try and get some space for the voice and the consonants. I'll just do the hi-hats here. Those are a common offender because they're in that same consonant range.
Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son, Ryder. After having started...
Yeah, it's not terrible, but there is a little bit in the same space as the S's and the T's, and if you have too much stuff going on there, it can make the voice unintelligible. You can't really hear, and that no editor is going to want that. So you want to look at those spaces. I'm just going to put these EQs right back in, and they should help clean it up a little bit.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son.
Yeah, it's a pretty subtle change, but it does make a difference. And, every little change that you make that can make your music sound more full or more exciting while still leaving space for the dialogue, that just leads to a track that's a little more usable, a little more licensable. So It may seem small, but I think once you get all those things sorted out, it makes a big difference, especially for the end users, for the people who are putting the music behind in those programs. Okay, so let's hear the volumes now.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids. In a recent interview, Michael couldn't stop talking about the success of his oldest son, Ryder. After having started
Yeah, so it seems like it's sitting pretty well now. The other thing that can be fun to do or could actually really transform one of the tracks you're working on is getting the tempo right. I mean, tempo is so important in everything. It has to add the right pace. So this is pretty laid back, but let's try it at a higher tempo and just see what it feels like.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of.
All right, so that's drastic. That's too weird.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud.
Yeah, so that felt right to me and it feels right still. I'll take it lower.
Actor Michael Mitchell is showing the world just how proud he is of his kids.
Yeah, so that feels like it's dragging now. And those are big changes. That's just to show the point. But you can get into finessing, and sometimes a couple BPMs will make a big difference. And if you can get a track that pushes things forward without feeling like it's rushing, that can be gold to somebody who's trying to get through some tough material or tough dialogue or stuff that's kind of boring. And if your track can be that thing that keeps people interested, that means you get a lot of licenses on that. All right, I hope that helped. Thanks.
A week before her disappearance, Marcy was going on her nursing rounds just like every other Tuesday morning, checking in on patients with her.
A decade ago, Michael and his former wife, supermodel and actress Tiffany Blaine, were caught in a bitter and damaging divorce.